Hello, and welcome to another amazing episode of the Mobb Inn. Now, tonight's episode is going to be absolutely fantastic, but at the moment, it looks like I am on my own. My guest will be with us ever so shortly. I'm sure that person will be here soon, but my co-host is on his way now. Who is my co-host for tonight? There he is. He's here! Hello,
Good evening.
Secretary Zen. How are you?
How are we? Not too bad. Yourself, brother?
Very well. Trying out the baby stashes, look. Trying to get
You've
that
put
bad
the
boy
little baby
curling.
rollers in. You've had them in. Looking very,
little baby rollers.
yeah, looking very well, mate. Looking very well.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, well, how have you been anyway since the last show and whatnot?
Man, things have kicked off massively over in the Sandman household. I have started working at my new job, which is fantastic. I'm working in a care home. I'm now the maintenance man in there, and honestly, it has given me a bit more life back. You'll see me a bit more jittery, a bit more about today. In my old job, I lost a bit of my humanity. I was treated a bit like a robot, but in this job, I am caring for people. I'm naturally a caring person, and it just makes me feel good to give
you
something
down
back.
to a T then.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, being chased around by old ladies is definitely what I want to do in my life. That's just the way it is.
We were always saying we were going to pimp you out to the old ladies, and it's now actually happened. So hey, your wife always said this. We were going to pimp you out, and we've pimped you out. So yeah, but no. Well, thank you for letting me join you, obviously, on the Mobb Inn tonight.
The pleasure is absolutely all mine. You know, you're always in the background. You're always working away like the little bee that you are, getting things all ready and getting all things sorted. And yeah, share the light. Come on to the show. Help me out.
Wow.
Get on with having a chat with a guest. Have a really good time. What are you drinking today, brother?
Just a lager, mate.
Just a lager. I am on not water, but coconut rum and lemonade. Very manly.
Nice, very manly.
Hey, I tell you what, Malibu is expensive, but I've managed to find a coconut rum for £6 for 70 cl. So
that's not bad. It's not bad
not
at all.
bad.
Not bad.
£6 for that and 62p for the lemonade. So £6.62 has given me a litre of lemonade and 70 cl of rum. So
well, that makes us the cheapest pub going about. So why doesn't everybody get in the comments and let us know what they're also drinking tonight and what else they might be doing? Because we are 420 friendly here, like we said. Obviously, we are we're live now on both Facebook and YouTube. So YouTube, if you're watching, you can get in the comments as well and let us know. But yeah, why don't you let people know what obviously the Mobb Inn is all about and what they might have missed from previous shows and how they can catch up, and because obviously we have So High through BMEG TV as well, which the boys over there are killing it with that episode.
Knocking it out the park, them lads are.
If you haven't seen it, then please get across to our YouTube channel, which is at Beard Mob England. all of the lives are on there as well. And yeah, you can catch up.
It's not just for beginners as well. I've been sewing years. I know a lot of people in Mob that have been sewing a long time, and they've watched that show. We've all learned something new. Some of us have even got so high while watching it. Not me, but hey, that's up to you guys. I do my own thing. I drink. I'm a drinker, not a smoker, but that's just me. But no, that show will teach you whether you are a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced sewer. I guarantee you there's something in one of the 3 episodes that are being about now that you will learn. That is new.
Honestly, I've picked up things on that.
100%.
Things that nobody, like Lulu is the man for sewing, and if you haven't seen, go and have a look at the result of his Mickey Mob that he done. Amazing, and I mean absolutely amazing.
It's not even the sewing as well, it's the colour matching with the threads, it's going around the outlines. I'm not saying any more on the initial show itself.
Go and watch
it.
It
to yourselves to get yourselves over there, either it's on the Mob England page or on the YouTube, like Zen has just said. Get it watched. Honestly, you'll be a better sewist after watching it. I promise you.
All day long.
And if not, next episode, jump in the comments, tell me why, and I will tell you quite happily that you're wrong, because there's no way you can watch that show and not learn something. It is one of them absolute top-notch shows.
And I also hear there are sometimes prize wheels on there, but that's all we're saying. That is all we're saying.
I also hear there's sometimes little sneaky little things that go on unplanned that even shock some of the officers that are meant to know stuff in this world. You know,
that's part of it, Mob.
You will get mixed feelings, and I'll leave it at that. You know, you're not prepared. Get over there, get it watched, watch back the Mobb Inn, and I'll tell you what that's all about now. So the Mobb Inn is just an area, a nice friendly environment where you can come, watch, and learn. We're all about learning. Now, it's not necessarily anything to do with beard mob that I learned about, or bearding. It could be different points in people's lives. We've had Boo on. We've talked about growing up in Louisiana.
That was
not going to go into any more detail.
But
get
you
back
can go
on
and
there.
watch that one back.
Who
was your second guest?
My second guest was the magnificent Jiggy. Now,
Serena Queen herself. The Mob Mama herself. Yeah.
She has such a massive catalogue of experience with bearding, whether it's competing, judging, or anything really. And that show really highlights it. You see every single layer, from being a competitor to being a judge to the different styles she does. She doesn't just do the women's as well. She helps the men in a sense of learning how to get into the show. I've done a few competitions.
And how to. She even mentioned things in that episode that I never even thought about, and I've only been in competing a year. But yet again, that's another one that you've got to get across to and watch over on our YouTube channel if you've not seen it. Please, once you're over there, just give it a little like, a little subscribe. It helps us grow as a family. It helps the boys across the pond as well, because
it definitely does.
Well.
It's also in the show. It's different people every time. It's not the same location. It might not even be the same country, but you will learn something new every single time. And if you watch back the shows, I'm sure the lads at So High will say the same. If you see something that you want to talk about or have a question about, tag one of the lads in, and I'm sure they'll go back, they'll receive the tag, they'll answer your questions. Might not be able to do it live, but be able to go back. Same with this live. We might see some questions pop up, and we might get around to talking about them. We might not see them, but I guarantee you, if you give me a little tag in or tag Zen, we'll go back and we'll definitely go through it all with you in the comment section. So don't worry. We might not be able to pick it up in the live, but we will definitely go back through and we'll talk about it at some point with you. If you just give us that little tag so we can find you in the sea of other comments.
All day long. But on to tonight's one.
Yeah.
I know you were about to say that, but you were taking us to give you a drink. So I'm going to let you tease who the guest is going to be tonight, or what the guest might have done in the past, I reckon.
I've got you. So this guest has a bit of a Back to the Future sort of vibe to him. He's very much neither in the present all the time, he's neither in the future all the time, and he's neither in the past. He straddles all of it. Part of his life encompasses the past and the present and mixes it about a bit. This gentleman has an absolutely amazing heart when it comes to charity. He has competed in countless events and he is just an all-round good person. If I told you any more, I'd ruin the show, because trust me, guys, you do not want that to happen. It is going to be an absolutely amazing one.
On that note, then, if you don't want to say no more, should we just bring the guest on and not even introduce him?
Yeah, do you know what? This person doesn't need any verbal introductions then. Bring them on.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
So,
how are you?
Anybody that might not know who you are, what's your name and where did you come from?
My name is Ron Rice, better known as Old Red here in the bearding community. I started out in Beard Mob, Indiana with that chapter, and then now I'm currently the president of the East Mob region in the U.S.
Wow.
Wicked. Wow.
That is awesome. We will talk more on Mob, I'm sure, later in tonight's episode. But for now, welcome to the Mobb Inn, Mr. Old Red.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Very.
I want to ask, who's your companion that sat on the chair next to you? Because it's going to get asked in the comments. We are inquisitive bunch. So
this is Buck. He's a Bucky's Beaver. Bucky's are kind of the unofficial giant Walmart gas stations over here.
Got you.
There's like 90 gas pumps and like a whole store and a jerky bar and a brisket bar and anything you could ever want at a convenience store. You go in to get $20 worth of gas and a Red Bull, you leave with $200 and a baby shower gift.
Go in there for one thing and come out with stuff that you really didn't need, and it ends up being hidden. I take it a lot of the time.
Excuse me?
Does it get hidden? So like a lot of us will order stuff and then we hide it when it comes to the house from the partner or the wife or that.
Yeah, you let it sit in the box for a couple days before you open it. I have to do that with swag. She's like, another box of swag?
We have an ingenious member. Is he ingenious or is he insane? I'm not sure. He straddles both. He literally orders swag left, right, and centre, up and down. His nickname is Jammy, and that's because he's a lucky son of a gun, because he wins just about every competition, especially in not bearding competitions, and that's what annoys us.
And he doesn't remember entering them neither, and that's the best part of it.
The giveaways, he enters that many, he doesn't even remember winning, and when he wins, he gets the people that run the competitions to write competition winnings, and if you buy something from that group or from that company, he will also get the owner of the company to write winning.
You do know you've just thrown that man under the bus live on Facebook.
It's
live on air. Now everybody knows his secrets.
There is
You've literally just thrown him under the bus. Well done, Sandman.
There's no secrets on the Mobb Inn.
There isn't. So what are you drinking tonight in the Mobb Inn, by the way, Old Red?
I got a good old Diet Pepsi.
Ooh. Other brands are available. We are nowhere sponsored by Pepsi.
No, I don't think they would ever come and sponsor us. All the middle fingers and the salutes. You never know.
Yeah, it'd be a PR nightmare.
Pepsi after that.
Could you imagine that one? Us trying to promote Pepsi on like big national televisions and like paying for them on the Super Bowl, and you've got us lot stood there. Drink Pepsi.
Drink Pepsi. Won't make it crazy, promise.
Yeah, no, I quit drinking about 2 years ago, so a lot of waters and diet sodas.
Well, there's a man in Mob doing a sober month at the moment, and I take my hat off to him. I couldn't do it.
Definitely, I couldn't do it. No way.
The first six months were pretty hard, but after that, it wasn't bad at all.
Wicked.
Beer so was the worst because everybody, was having fun there. Those were the worst at first, but they got it. It's great now.
You get past the stage where it's like it starts to get annoying. I get what you mean, yeah. But no, obviously, I'm gonna let Liam ask a few questions because obviously we're in the Mobb Inn and it's all about learning. And obviously, a lot of people might not know who you are, where you're from. They've just seen somebody jump up on screen with a soft, cuddly Teddy next to him.
Strange red beard appear with like a teddy next to him. It happens. I told you it happens. These things do happen.
It's a beaver.
I didn't realise Gimli had gone out to Indiana for the weekend.
I was going to say, if you've ever seen our mob member Gimli, we will keep plugging mob members because we want you to all intermingle and sort of get on and learn each other. So as much as you learn about the person in this show, chapters don't really get to speak to each other very often, and we need to promote that. We need to get the sharing and caring going all the way across mob, not just the people we interview. So please, if you want to find out more about any of our members, talk to us, and I'm sure we'll come to you if we want to find out any more about members of your chapter or anything like that. So my first question is, growing up in Indiana, you know, it's one of the few chapters in America that I literally don't know much about. I try and do a little bit of background info because I'm a bit of a book snob when it comes to that. I try and do a little bit of research. Some Silky might say stalking, but it's not that.
You might try and cover it up as a nerd chat or something like that normally, but yeah, it is stalking. You go back to the birth of Facebook of each person, yeah,
it's pretty much good old fashioned, you know, stalking. But Indiana is a chapter, not even a chapter, a state that I don't know much about at all. So, growing up in Indiana, what was it like?
Indiana's different. It's kind of one of those in-between states. You know, everybody always says Indiana's flat. Well, a lot of Indiana is flat, but I mean, we got a lot of rolling hills too, and a lot of wilderness. I grew up hunting and fishing. Done that with my father and my grandfather, and just kind of grew up out of that, and then started riding a lot of motorcycles for a lot of years. And
nice.
Found the bearded community about 2.5 years ago, and here we are.
Wow.
So basically, you lived out country and lived a proper lifestyle out there in the woods.
Yeah,
and
I had a horse growing up and dogs, and you know, I've always loved animals. I do reptile rescue, and so I'm always messing around with animals. So
that's got to be an awesome job to get into, reptile rescue. How do you go from a childhood in Indiana to leaving school to then going on to reptile rescue?
Oh,
that's got to be a journey in itself.
There's a lot in between there, but I've always been a fan of snakes and reptiles, and you know, living in the country, we always had black snakes, and you know, as a kid, they just fascinated me. So you know, as soon as I had my own place and stuff, I started collecting snakes, and then I seen a need. Everybody kept saying, "Hey, I need to get rid of this. Hey, I need to get rid of this." So I started taking all those get rid of this and making sure they were healthy, and then getting them into homes. You know, and I love seeing a rehabilitated reptile go into a home. Like recently, one went into this little girl's house, and it was 8. Her parents reached out to me, and they send me updates like all the time, like the kids with the snake, and so it's rewarding too. You know.
Yeah, watching all the updates
it is rewarding. Do you keep the animals? Like, have you got animals in your house? Basically, the point.
Yeah.
You keep the reptile. Yeah, cool.
I've got 6 snakes and a monitor lizard currently, and a snapping turtle.
My eldest son is absolutely reptile mad. Like, his mob nickname. So over in England, we have little mini mobsters, and his nickname is Croc because he absolutely loves crocodiles, snakes, reptile, dinosaurs, even the reptiles that aren't here anymore. He loves. So I'm gonna have to arrange something where we do like a video chat, and you show him some of the animals that you help rescue, because that is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love with kids too, because the education when they're kids is very important, you know, because there's so much irrational fear and everything. So
100%.
I love talking to the kids because they're engaged, they don't have any preconceived notions, and you can really show them the benefits of what they do in the wild and how fun they are to keep as pets too. So
all day long. I know my little brother over here, he had a Bosque monitor, and I'm like, a lot of the mob would tell you I'm 6'2", but my little brother's only about 5 foot something. I remember walking into his flat, and he was sat there, and he literally had this Bosque monitor, and just turned around and went, "You all right?" I don't do reptiles, so I turned round, ran down those stairs, and rang him and went, "What do you think you're doing?" He went, "I knew you weren't going to come in." He went, "If I told you I had it." But yeah, like, I know those things are huge. But no, so
mine's about 1.5 years old and almost 3 foot long.
Wow, that's like bigger than some of the members of our chapter.
I was just about to say that one. Yeah.
It's like literally bigger than my wife, I think, actually.
What was your school life like then, growing up, to obviously going from like out in the Indiana hunting, fishing, and then school?
Well, I can't lie, I wasn't a very good student. I made it through school.
A lot of mob were.
I didn't excel, I didn't fail, I made it through school.
Wow. Now that is a guest to have been brought on. Now I don't think even Liam knew about this one being brought on.
That's amazing. I've lost my therapy animal upstairs.
She's getting heavy. She's like 40 pounds now.
Wow.
They lived to be about 150 years old. I bought this home, and my dad called, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I just went and bought a tortoise." And he's like, "What for?" I said, "Your grandkids' Christmas."
Oh wow.
That's
That is
amazing.
something else.
We've got my mum and dad, it's my brothers, and we had lizards growing up, like bearded dragons and that. And we have this little tortoise. It's only like that big, and that's as big as it will ever get. It's a hingeback.
Yeah, I have a hingeback as well.
Yeah, little hingeback tortoise called Leonardo, obviously. And he's got to be about 15 years, 10 to 15 years old now, and he's about the size of, like a small meat pie that you get in Walmart, about that sort of size.
That's about the size of my female as well.
Yeah, and that's crazy what they can do, even at that small. I know it's not like you're big, but there's so much more to them animals than just being slow and cumbersome and just plodding around.
Very clever
really,
animals.
really clever.
It's pretty amazing.
It's pretty cool. So, you said you weren't a very good student. I'm pretty sure we don't need to delve into that. But the hunting life, because that sort of spins the keeping the animals and rescuing animals on its head, sort of, so to speak.
We've got some awesome, little special guests coming in onto the show.
This is great.
This is absolutely awesome.
This is our hingeback, Alice.
Alice.
Hi, Alice.
Alice got lost in the house for 2 months, and we turned the house upside down, so she got the name Alice in Wonderland.
Still to this day, you don't know where she ended up, or?
We came back from a beard competition in Tennessee and opened the door, and she's just walking down the hallway like, "Hey, where you guys been all weekend?"
2 months. Wow.
By the way, we're out of lettuce.
Yeah. Kept running out of lettuce, but didn't have a clue why, and nobody was eating it in the house.
Oh, it's so funny. Out of all the food groups to just randomly vanish, it's like the fruit and vegetables just decreasing over time. So funny. So, the hunting side of it, are we talking like deer, big game, or are we talking what sort of things do you hunt, or did you hunt, should I say?
Deer and turkey were the two big ones around here. Every winter time around here is just deer crazy. Everybody in the area is just all about deer hunting. I mean, you can't go anywhere and somebody's not talking about it. I actually haven't hunted in years. Life got busy, and it's just one of those things that kind of went to the back burner. But it was definitely a good time enjoying it with my dad. Something we got to do together all the time. Hunting, shooting guns, bow and arrow, love archery. So it was just a good mix, man.
So you used to hunt with bows as well, then? Because obviously for over here, we are not allowed to go hunting unless you know the landowner, and it's stringent rules and stuff like that. So many
rules over here.
Yeah, very hard. So over there, I know obviously we see it on TV. You can hunt with guns at certain times of year, but bow hunting, I know that's got to be an art to it itself as well, isn't it?
It's rewarding. I done a lot of the competition archeries, like for the 3D targets. I love the competition aspect of that, and I had a blast with it. It was fun as a kid, man, to be able to just go out and do something that didn't cost a lot of money. I mean, of course you had to purchase the stuff, but once you had the stuff, I mean, I could go shoot all day long for free.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, over here shooting wise, I'm in the country, so in Yorkshire, so that's like a big strange place in England. You don't want to go. And I used to work in a forest, so we had deer and pheasant and all different types of animals, and every so often we would allow hunters to come on, but it is so strictly monitored by what you can take, what you can do, and this, that, and the other. Me personally, out of the two hunter type sports you mentioned, fishing's my cup of tea. That's where I'm at. I love fishing, and I don't mean sitting there with a little float watching it bobber down for a bit of bread. I mean getting in the middle of that river and you're trying to catch pike and all your predatory fish and that sort of thing. Get the adrenaline going. Is that the type of fishing you do, or is
no,
over there?
I was the lazy fisherman. You just light a lantern, you throw it in, you put a bell on the end, and you sit and hang out until the bell rings, and you're really gonna fish.
Oh, great! It's so funny if you're doing the type of fishing.
Is my thing. I really enjoyed catfishing.
I've only ever done that once. I've only ever done that once over here, and that was with another mob member, which I've known for many of years, Naga, and he always said to me, "Catfish, they fight worse than carp." he got me into carp fishing after river fishing and stuff like that. So we do a lot of catch and release carp fishing over here. But when we done the catfish, oh my God, they fought like
it's
mother
so much
hubbard.
fun. You know, I've battled a catfish for, you know, like an hour or more at a time.
Yeah. And when they come up, they're not as big as what you think they are. Like an hour ago when they were taking that reel off and running it, you're there like, oh, I've got a big one in. And you pull it out and you think, I've just fought you for like 20, 40 minutes and you're coming out at that size. Like, nah,
Yeah,
there's something wrong here.
When I first met my wife, we went on, it wasn't really a date, it was like a picnic type thing, and it was fishing. Because I got a river where my mum and dad live.
I
So
was
I
just
went,
about to say, where are you going with this comment from catfishing onto your wife? I was there like, be very careful what you say here, Liam. Like, I know she's upstairs and locked away, but how?
So I told her about I like the fishing and fishing for pike and that, and she didn't quite grasp it. I would happily say that I caught my biggest pike that I've ever caught, and she's never been fishing since. That literally ended it for her. This big thing come out of the water with teeth, and you know, pikes have got such unique eyes.
Supposedly as big as your leg.
Yeah, and they follow you as long as I'm not getting my leg out before you.
You keep your leg away, boy.
Only Sandra gets her legs out. But yeah, as big as my leg. And so Dover saw this thing come out of the water, and she was like, "Oh my God!" I went, yeah, and we had to like take the hook out and sort it all out. And since then, she's not been fishing. I've been fishing with my little boys though. I've taken them fishing for carp. Carp's always fun. It's a nice easy fish, you know, carp, barbel, that sort of thing. The nice easy fish to go for. Not done catfish. I would love to do catfish. I'd love to do some deep sea fishing.
Big catfish over there. Big channel catfish over there. Those are crazy looking.
I'd love to fish for eel as well, off the rocks. That's something my family have always been around the water and fishing and that as well. So it's something that I've always wanted to go further with, so to speak. But I imagine we could talk about fishing and hunting all night.
Certainly good. But I know what I'm going to ask. So obviously, when you come out of school, how did you go from what did you do when you left school? Because obviously, a lot of people leave school. You wouldn't have walked straight into reptile rescue from school, so.
I actually was a chef. I went to a culinary school for vocation and worked.
Nice.
And I liked being a chef, and then I became a manager of a restaurant, and then it was like, after about 3 or 4 years of that, I was like, okay, this isn't for me. So we explored other things, and I started getting involved in maintenance. I've done factory maintenance for most of my life. Right now I do radiator repair, rebuild, restore radiators. It's dirty work, but it's fun. It's a dying art, you know, working with the leads and the copper, and not a lot of people doing it. So
I don't think a lot of people do it at all over here. So it's probably a died out art over here because a lot of it's
Sheffield steel, won't it?
Yeah, and to be fair, that's not about. So you're probably like a dying art over there, but over here it's a dead art. I would believe it'd be very, very rare over here. So
you know, agriculture does a lot of business because they still have copper radiators and stuff, where a lot of the automotive applications are plastic and aluminum. They're throwaway. You just drop a new one in, unfortunately. But I do a lot of older car restoration stuff. People want the radiator to be the exact, you know, matching radiator for the car. So we do a lot of rebuilds and stuff on that because you just can't buy that stuff anymore.
The vehicles you must see must be absolutely unreal, especially with like I say historical. It's your older vehicles. Obviously, they're still going today, but you're seeing a different side of mechanics, really, because you're seeing vehicles that are not a lot of people get the opportunity to work on, and that must be amazing.
Yeah, we had a Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost in the shop this week. It was a beautiful car.
Wow,
that's an expensive car.
It had set for 30 years untouched. I mean, it's just beautiful.
Wow. That's unreal. Absolutely unreal. When you was talking about your early life going from chefing to maintenance, basically, I'm pointing at myself because I did chefing for 7 years, and hot lockdown hit. I ended up leaving the catering sort of side of things, and I went straight into maintenance. I went into maintenance in the forest. It was all about building log cabins and refurbishing that sort of thing.
Using his favourite colour, magnolia.
Oh, don't even go there. I cannot stand magnolia, and I'm not getting on that subject then. You and Silky are as bad as each other. Lulu as well, bringing Magnolia into my shows. No
Poking
way.
at him, yeah. Poke at him.
Yeah.
No
yeah,
way.
You
They are.
used
they're
to
poking the
love
bear.
painting Magnolia. I heard Dover wanted to paint her lounge Magnolia. Yeah.
No.
But
I'll
anyway,
divorce
on to
her.
your maintenance question that you were going on about.
Yeah, so it's just like I've done maintenance all in different walks of life and doing maintenance in a care home now, and it is, I imagine you're like me when it's any sort of maintenance, just that thought process of the enjoyment of taking something apart and putting it all back together again, and that, and you work with such unique materials, like I said, lead and that sort of thing. How is it different working with the old school type of materials and that sort compared to modern? Obviously, all my maintenance is modern stuff. Maybe the odd boiler from like the 80s or 90s, but nothing as old as you do. What's it like working with them older materials and older styles of maintenance? You have to change the way you learn. Do you have to adapt more? Explain a bit. If you
I was very fortunate. My wife's family has ran this radiator business for 75 years. Her grandfather started it, her great grandfather, then her grandfather, and then now her father is the lead technician, lead mechanic. So they needed somebody. They knew I done maintenance type stuff, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to learn a trade?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Nobody else is doing it. And working with the older coppers and the lead solders and the fluxes and the acids, it's dirty, it stinks. Nobody wants to learn it. I mean, but for me, it's the rewarding aspect of taking a car that's, I'm working on like 40s stuff, that has been on the road. People have driven this car, driven their families in it for 80 to almost 100 years now.
They've put memories into those cars, haven't they? Like you think about them.
And just to be able to put my heart into something that goes back to them and goes in that, I mean, it's pretty rewarding. But and I also enjoy the dying arts. I like stuff people aren't doing. I like learning skills. I'm a skills person, so I like learning.
Truly amazing. You can hear the passion in your voice when you're talking about this sort of thing and how you really love it. When I did my training with metalwork, and that was always taught about like the memory of metal, and it's not the malleability of the item, it's the fact that this has come from the ground and it's been made into something, and metal's so recyclable now that you don't know that something you hold in your hand could have been a part of a tank. It could have been all these little things, and you are literally working with pieces of metal that were made into that single purpose before it's then been stripped apart and turned into something else. So you're at a very core point of that metal's lifespan. Do you know what I mean? I know Zen might not understand completely what I'm saying, but it is the journey of that material and how it's come to be. And you sort of like, I know my eyes have gone a bit wide, and you've excited me a bit with metal talk. And it's not very often you meet somebody who has that passion for, like I said, the memory of metal and how it's grown and changed.
I've really learned to enjoy working with copper. It's it's a softer material, and with the leads and stuff. Actually, when we got married this year, I coppersmithed our wedding bands out of raw copper for Miss Meg and I for our wedding. So that was fun.
If I'm right in saying on that one, you didn't have a normal wedding neither, did you? It wasn't. So a normal wedding to a lot of people would be going to a church. You would be suited and booted. Your partner or fiance at the time would come in a white dress. How did you have your wedding? Because a lot of people might not know this about you.
So me and my wife are Civil War reenactors. My daughters got into it with us as well. So I got engaged to her at a reenactment, and she's had a childhood dream always of having a 1800s wedding.
Wow.
So we made it happen. We done everything 1860s, plates, tables, chairs, clothing, food, everything all authentic. Just like you would have walked into a village that was having a fall wedding at the time. It would have been a fall harvest and the ceremony at the same time. So we did we done the pig, we done meats and cheeses hung, and so we done it authentic, and we got the opportunity to do it in a historic village that was actually built in the 1860s. There's a mill on the property and several residence homes, so we actually got to stay in the park in the cabins for that whole experience. So it was literally like a 1860s village wedding. Everybody came together.
So it wasn't like you just turned up in the morning. It was like you stayed there, you woke up, you got ready, the whole like.
Mother-in-law was doing cakes in one cabin, traditional rosewater cakes and things. And in another cabin, we had people doing the dried flowers, making dried flower arrangements. So the guest at the park could walk through and see all these things being done and being crafted, and a pig being roasted, on wood, and the ladies cooking in there on the hearths and the fireplaces in the cabins. So it was not only just a memorable experience for us, because it's definitely something we'll never forget. There was a lot of, children there that, 50 years from now is going to be telling their grandchildren about this. So we kind of made our memory, but we made a bunch of memories for a lot of different people. It's going to be transgenerational. So it was a really fun experience.
That's amazing.
So obviously, sorry, go on, Sam.
I was just saying, I'm speechless. Listen, I can literally hear you talking about that event in my mind. It's like I'm living it for you. Do you know what I mean? The way you describe it, it's sending me on like a little bit of a journey. And I don't want to use the word emotional because I will never hear the end of it from Zen. But it was just.
Do you know what? I like the way that you said you were in the cabins and you were making, like, did those guests know that you were there doing that for your wedding, or did they think it was there for them to see walking through or something like that? Or
so it was, the state park actually advertised it as a wedding. That's one of the reasons we got the village, is for the interactive experience. But there was a sign out front, the gates where you went into the courtyard, that said, hey, the preparations you're seeing are for a wedding that will take place tomorrow. And we had a lot of people actually come back for the ceremony to watch the whole thing go down.
So you didn't just have your family at the ceremony, people that were like intrigued with, like, interested in what you do? Because obviously a lot of people, a lot of people might not know that, but you do a lot of the reenactments as well, don't you? It's not just a one-time thing that you've done for your wedding. You're very involved in the reenactments. Am I quite correct in that?
Yeah, we do a lot of living history stuff. There's a lot of famous mansions and large farms and things over here that'll want reenactors to come act like they live in the buildings while tour guests and people come by, and then just give the people a little bit of history, a little education on what we're doing and why we're doing it. And then we also do the reenacting side of the Civil War as well. But living history is where my heart lies.
Yeah.
And what does that? Oh, go on.
I've got a little bit of background information on this because we had a chat prior to the show, but this isn't like you got married to Miss Meg in this sort of historical time set, but Miss Meg's been doing it a long time, hasn't she? Tell us how long, because this will blow Zen's mind, just how far back does this love for reenacting go in your family?
So Miss Meg would be third generation. Her grandmother and grandfather started it, got involved, and then her mother got involved through them. And then obviously when she was 8, she started full-blown reenacting. And then just come full circle. We got together a few years ago. I got involved in it, fell in love with it. It's, it's kind of like bearding. Once I started, I'm like, I don't want to stop. And then my daughter got into it. It was kind of a cool thing for me because you got a 16, 17-year-old girl that's immersed in technologies and this and that. And then to see her put her phone up, put all the dress stuff on, and just enjoy the weekend living that way, it was super cool for us. So she's going to be the 4th generation.
So how old was your daughter when she started doing the reenactments with 16. You? 16 was when she started. Wow. But I can't believe Miss Meg's been doing it that long. That's a long time. It
blew me for 6 when I first heard that. The amount of time and effort you've committed to a hobby as a couple, and especially Miss Meg throughout her life, is really admirable. A lot of people don't have that staying power nowadays with a hobby. I know bearding's different. There's a lot of people doing it for years, but that is truly something special because it's spanned such a massive point in your family's history.
It's funny too because we have to sit down with our calendars about every 2 months and see where the reenactments are and where the beard comps are. Sometimes I give up and we go, or sometimes, but normally they don't overlap. But like this weekend, there was a ball in Frankfort, Kentucky, where they all got fancied up in this old mansion, and they had a ball, a dance. And I unfortunately went to the beard comp this weekend. So her and my daughter were at that all weekend. I was at the beard comp all weekend. Bearded Hero, had a blast.
We will come back on to Bearded Hero. Don't worry about that one. We are not going to skip over that one because I'm going to take my hat off to you and say thank you very much for joining us, because not a lot of people are going to know that you've only just got back from a beard comp this weekend. And yeah, to come back and walk on and do a live show, not just a live show in America, there's a big time difference as well. So thank you very,
I was
much.
Super excited. Like, we got home about a little over 2 hours ago now. Had a quick bite, smoke. I was like, all right, time for the show. Let's do this all again.
But yeah, no, like your reenactment is something else, and yeah.
It's good that you're riding the highs off the back of a show as well, because we all know what comp blues feel like, and this will just. I know it's prolonging the inevitable, but this is just going to keep you going a little bit up onto that little bit of a ledge for a bit. So that
we got another one next weekend too, so I don't have to wait too long.
Got another one next weekend,
and then the weekend after that.
This is the thing with the American calendars of bearding. It's never. I don't think there's not a weekend that goes by where you don't have a competition, or you could go to a competition. If I'm right,
you could pretty much be at a competition every weekend if you are brave enough to travel every day.
We really have the blooming bad end of this stick, don't we, Zen? We really
6 or 7 comps a year, and they're only spaced between like 7 months of the year, and then we have like a big break, and yeah, big blues, big blues.
This is my 3 week. This will be my 3 week tour. We had Bearded Hero, I got Hiram's, and then I'm going out to Syracuse, New York.
Wow! And obviously you had Mob Fest 6. Did you go?
Yeah. Mob Fest is always a good time. This is my 2nd year at Mob Fest, dude. If you can get there, get there. I know it's a little bit longer drive for you guys. You got to get your floorboards wet. It's crazy, but if you can get there, get there.
I'll start rolling now.
We just set up a big sailing ship, and yeah, we'll all start taking turns and sailing across the.
Could you imagine the Americans' face if they just saw this ship?
A ship
full of Englishmen just rowing
we are mobs all just hanging off the side, us saluting with our shirts on. Mob. You wouldn't know what would hit you.
Louisiana, Harry's on the bank waiting for you guys.
Be great.
It's a movie. That's a movie.
Wishing us happy birthdays. It's not fussed whose birthday it is, but as we come in,
we're all our birthday. But yeah, nice.
Love me some Harry Flanagan, the Joker.
We all love Joker.
Yeah, Jacob, all them. Yeah, absolutely love it. No.
Yeah, it's been a big year. It's been a big year. We done You Matter the first part of the year down in Texas. Then 2 weeks later, we went back down to Louisiana for Mob Fest. And then it's been kind of quiet until this weekend. Now here we go.
So with your like you say, with your bearding and your reenactments, they don't really clash, and you sit there and you do it. And so how many weeks of the year do you reckon you're away doing like reenactments and stuff like that?
Last fall we were gone 9 weekends in a row between reenacting and bearding. Like, we just sleep at this house. We don't do anything else here. Just sleep.
Wow, that's crazy. Because obviously like I said, Zen said, we're comparing that to our calendar, and there's times you can see, especially Mick Wallage, you can see that when the competition season, and Silky, when the competition season starts over here, they start like, shaking off the feathers and that, and start getting ready and that. But you guys don't get that break. You're just constantly going.
And with your hobby of like you say, with the reenactment and then doing the bearding, your weekends are just there. Like, you use it just to go to work, I take it, your houses, and then you're away living out of your cars and your bags, and
it's about making memories, man. Every weekend when we're on the road, it sucks. We get tired, but by the time that next Friday comes around, we're like, let's do this. We're ready to go, because you never know when you leave for a trip to a beard comp, or you leave for a trip for a reenactment, what kind of shenanigans and what kind of memories you're going to bring back home with you. And that's what it's all about for me, is making memories.
It's like we're planning our next meet, which is, I think, just under 2 months away, just under 60 odd days, maybe.
Yeah,
I want to say around that. So we have big gaps between our meets. So like the last meet before this would have been last October for a lot of people. So
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's a big
Yeah.
span. I'd go
Nice.
nuts.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Blues
So
they get us down bad.
yeah,
Yeah,
the blues get us.
We
Do
got
your
little circle of people, that's kind of right around the Indiana area, and we all travel Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Michigan, and you get to see those people quite frequently throughout the years. But when you go out to a place like Texas or Louisiana, or I'm going to Syracuse, you see a different group of your family. So it's just always fun, man. It's just always fun.
do the two worlds of the bearding world and your reenactment world ever collide? Do you ever see anybody at the reenactment world that you might see in a bearding world or stuff like that? Or
Oh, I
that
give plenty of business cards out at reenactments. People walk by and I'm like, hey man, have a
I
card.
know which business cards you're on about as well.
And then at Beard Comps, actually last night I dressed up for Bearded Hero, and there might have been I might have been in a John Wilkes Booth, and there could have possibly been an Abraham Lincoln assassination on stage.
Wow.
The video's out there. That's all I'll say. The video's out there.
I reckon.
No beardo was hurt in the making of that, yeah?
No. I reckon we might have to show people what we keep talking about reenactment, because we keep saying it. People don't want to switch off. So what do you reckon?
I think so, 100%.
I'm excited.
So for people, this is some pictures of Old Red and the reenactment he does. So enjoy and watch these for the next minute or so. What are you doing, Liam?
Nothing. I most definitely was not checking my curls or like making myself look partially beautiful.
You can't
They
do
look
that
good.
with
They
that
look
short
beautiful.
stubble at the moment.
But
No, like we've seen, they were some awesome photos of your reenactment. But
Thank you.
in the background, I can see that you've got your bearded family network, and on that one, am I not right in saying, Sandman, that on the bearded network he might have a partner or like somebody with him?
I've heard of this. I've heard of a compadre that he has that floats around with him in the bearding scene, and on that particular show, I have definitely heard about this.
Do you reckon?
I think so. Yes.
Do you reckon if we say the name, that person might like?
You got to say it 3 times and he might appear.
Is it like Beetlejuice? If we say the
Yeah.
name 3 times, it I reckon if Old Red says it 3 times, we might see what happens. I reckon.
What's his name, Old Red?
Stash, stash, stash.
Never,
Hey,
never.
Every damn time. Every damn time. It works every damn time.
How
No
is
way.
that even possible to get that on there?
I don't know. I bought it at Walmart, so it works pretty well.
Have you been hiding this one in the box for a little while and now it's just popped out?
Good evening, Jen.
Story. Love
Good
this man.
evening.
Good
Love this man.
evening.
But I actually did find him in Walmart. I was the crazy guy chasing him down the pharmacy with a business card, like, "Hey, you have a nice mustache." He's like, thank you. And then that
I have to say, what from one stash to another, that is fantastic. No, I'm still new. Like mine's nothing compared to the man below me at the moment. It is
Definitely.
something else.
I would disagree. I'm pretty new myself, and hell, Sandman, I love your curls, bro. No.
I know he's got little baby curls going on at the moment, isn't he?
Hey, any and all stash are near and dear to my heart. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I love the Whalers. I love y'all. I love Whaler Nation, but stashes are certainly near and dear.
It's coming back, and I see a lot of, like, where I'm from in the south coast of the UK. A lot of lads nowadays are growing just the stashes, and it's kind of funny. I walk around and I'm probably one of the only full bearded styled stashes that you see walking around. And then you see these lads and they've got the stashes and you think, yeah, go on, keep growing it. I really want to see it, because the stash is something else. It finishes the beard every time.
Mustache is timeless. Mustache is really timeless. I mean, it's been the facial style for as long as we can remember.
All day.
I just see a picture of Caveman with this like amazing like Dali mustache, just like that, walking around slaying mammoths with his massive point, jabbing them with his Dali mustache.
Why did Taxi Phil tell you yesterday, Stash, about mustache?
yeah. Taxi Phil at Bearded Hero yesterday morning, he was wearing a T-shirt. On the back of it, it said, "If you can't see it from behind, it's not a real stash." like from behind your head, which that is.
He has to turn sideways to get through the door.
Right?
Is it that big? Right. I've got to find this one. It will be one to. On that note, where have you two boys? We've been skipping across it every time old Red's been bringing it up. Then there was a reason, I will say. So where have you boys literally just been this weekend and come back from?
All right, yeah. So we've been at Bearded Hero Endgame, a competition. It's about 2 hours north of my house. Ron and I live relatively close, about 20 minutes. Give or take. So it was about 2 hours 15 up north, Fort Wayne, Indiana. It'll be the last competition for this particular this club. They've done it 4 years, I think, and but it was a great opportunity. As Ron mentioned, I was able to watch them in the backstage, but and you kind of said it, Red. We get to run into people we see somewhat frequently. But it's always nice to meet new people and be able to connect with folks that you might not have seen for a couple of weeks or several months, kind of depending on the area. We hit UMatter down in southern Texas in January, and then went to Louisiana for Mob Fest 6 a few weeks ago. So there's a different group, and you get kind of regionally, and that's a bit of a haul for us. I mean, Texas was a 18-hour drive. And Louisiana was right about 12 and a half, and that's just road time, no pit stops for.
We done it in a weekend.
Yeah.
So alien, somebody from the UK. I've said it before when Jiggy was mentioning it, and so same with Boo. It's such an alien concept for us English to think about that level of time on the road. It's for
crazy. For you. Because I live at the bottom of the UK, so like I say, my first competition this year, if I hadn't have stopped at Big Judd's house halfway, I think it would have been about 12 hours travelling that I could have done to get there. So I went from the bottom of England to literally Glasgow in Scotland. So yeah, that was a long old journey, but normally it's about 5-6 hours traveling for me to most competitions, because this man lives up north, so he hasn't got far to travel as what I have.
4.5 hours to Opie's. It's still nowhere near the travel you do, but for somebody up north who, it's like Game of Thrones. Whenever someone from the north goes south, we have to light beacons just to make sure that they know that we're leaving.
Hold the string out and wrap it round the tree every so often, and make sure that they're trailing it back.
Yeah, we're not actually allowed out. It's just a pleasantry, really. You got all the old deers waving goodbye as we leave the north.
We normally have most of our stuff. We try to stay within a around a 6-hour radius, unless it's something and we're just, most of the time when we end up going a long ways away, it's one of those things where, hey, we should do this. And we're like, yeah, we should do this. And then we just go.
Spontaneous.
So, go on, Sam.
I was just commenting the fact that it's spontaneous the way you do things.
Yeah, no. So obviously you were away this weekend. So mob-wise, what did we win or did we not win, or did we take home anything?
Yes, I did not win. Yes.
So for people that don't know, Mr. Stash down below was on a 10-win streak, and you might find this very, very strange. And when I got told about it last night by Old Red, I kind of giggled, and I giggled very loud on this. So I will let you explain, Stash, because obviously it's your story. So you were on a 10-0 winning streak at the moment of all your competitions, and like you say, you're very new as well, aren't you?
Yeah. So my first, as Ron mentioned, he found me at a Walmart less than a year ago, and was like, "We got this comp coming up in August for Beard Mob Indiana's first competition. Like to meet you." And I'm like, okay, this is really kind of strange, but anyway, we'll jump forward. And I went and fell in love immediately, and took first place. And so between August and this weekend, that's 11 competitions we've gone to. So it's been in a couple onlines, and I will say, there was a couple times where I was the only mustache in the category because
don't complain. It's always the bonus. That's the bonus round.
Just context, right? Yeah, there was a couple that. But yeah, first place, natural stash. So this weekend it was great. We were at the morning meet and greet, and Taxi Phil. If you don't know Mr. Taxi Phil Jones, just a freaking legend. The man is a legend.
Living.
But anyway, he made a comment. I might be shaving this off tonight. I don't know. Red and I were headed to the hotel to check in and kind of get ready and everything. And I was like, dude, Taxi said he might be shaving his beard off. That means we get to compete in the same category, and I get to lose to Phil. I was so fucking excited. Just, I mean,
he was beaming ear to ear, getting a third place win. You thought he'd won best in show. I mean,
and it's not about. I don't try to brag or anything like that. I don't. There's no place for that. And who doesn't like to win, right? I mean, that's cool and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's not about trophies and where you placed and all that. We kind of talked about this briefly earlier. It's the group of people that you get to spend time with, that you enjoy their company immensely. It's raising money for an organization that needs it. It's embarrassing the hell out of yourself by making stickers and just having fun, letting your hair down, and just truly being surrounded by amazing people who want to help each other, and just it lifts my spirit. So I don't give a damn about trophies, but I mean, for the record, right, I got a chance to lose to Taxi Phil, and I just flat out couldn't be happier.
And like you said earlier on, that was your gold. Winning, like losing to that man, was your gold, and that's what you enjoyed, and that's the best part. So Ron, obviously we've just heard that Stash is like competitive, little bit of background. What's your competitive background and like up to this stage at the moment? Because you said you had entered like the beard in about 2 years ago. So
man, that's one thing I really wish I had done, is keep track of my competitions, because it has been the wildest 2-year ride, brothers. I mean, it has just been nuts. I've been all over the U.S. I've seen places I've never seen before. Met some of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life, most of which I now call family. Just talking to other people, and then when you go to these other cities too, not only are you going there for the comp, but you get a little bit of the culture. You get to see some of the sights, eat at some of the restaurants, some of the bars you get to see, and so you get a little bit of a kind of a cultural experience as well, and that's been really fun for me. But just since August of last year, we've done 11, so I can't imagine what we've done before that. I'd done before that. So.
Well, that's a lot.
Probably another 20.
Wow.
We've hosted 2 now. 3.
We had the Bearded Olympics in August, my first one, And then we did one up in Peru, Indiana. One of our members lives up north about 2.5 hours or so. And then was it Peru Fall Beard Bash? I think Beard and Mustache Bash. And then we did an online competition around Christmas time.
I forgot about that.
A gingerbread house, decorate something a little bit different from a beard.
I do remember that one. It was a design your own gingerbread house, and you posted it up on the site, and it was to raise money as well. Yeah, I do remember that one.
I like doing fundraising and event raising and do something different. You know, I don't want to try something new, and sometimes you try something new and it don't work. But for us, we've really been batting 1,000. We've had some pretty good fundraisers. We've been doing some pretty fun, unique stuff. I think the gingerbread house competition is definitely coming back next year. We had a lot of people really enjoy it. It's a way to spend time with their families and be involved in the bearded community.
I will put my hands up to that one. Red, you did invite me to that one, and I was absolutely hectic over Christmas, and I think that I was. But this year, I will be on that one for sure. And yeah, you will. We will definitely be getting some English, some English competitors on that one.
100%.
Yeah,
sweet.
Yeah.
But
no, obviously, obviously,
you have to be a beard competition to do good stuff, right? And make memories. You can involve your friends, your family. You know, it doesn't have to, be a lineup on a stage getting your facial hair judged.
And that's the best part of it all. And like you both keep saying, like we all talk backstage, and we all say about how it is about the family and the charity. And I think us four wouldn't be sat on this screen if it wasn't for the club that's all sat behind us or on us. And it is, we are Mobb. And
we are Mobb.
Yeah, we are Mobb. And
so I have been using that chant at the comps, and it's come back phenomenally. I'll just give the "we are," crowd goes Mobb, and I just take it one step louder, and the crowd goes louder, and then I fucking go.
That is amazing. That's what it's about. It ties into the show really well, because we are Mobb, but a lot of people don't know who Mobb is. Well, we are. Every single person that comes onto this show is Mobb, and you're learning a different layer of what it means to make Mobb. Some of us are really creative, some of us are better at fundraising than others, and some of us are just good in the background, and that's not a bad thing. People that are in the background do the chanting.
Keeps us ones that are out on the front in line and in check. Like, not being funny, a lot of the ones that you see out on the front, we're all scatty. I'll openly admit it. I do a fair few shows. I'm scatty. If I didn't have the boys in the background pulling me in, sometimes I don't think I'd be where I am today. And I have to take my hat off. And it's me and Ron have spoken in the past, and we've spoken over the months. And Stash is very new to me, but like family and the bond that you have through the Mobb is just unreal. It is.
Beard on,
one big,
Beard on British for us. 2 competitions. British was bigger, but Beard on had more Mobb. Do you know what I mean? We actually we dominated that way too much. There was way too many shirts there. It was great. But just your first time going onto a stage, we've all been there. We've all had the nerves, and a lot of us still get the nerves when going onto stage. I know for a fact I definitely do. And them people in the background that just are there, and they're there for everybody, every single member, and whether they're shouting "Mobb, Mobb, Bob," "We are Mobb," "Sandman," "Zen," whatever it is, it's that gets you over that initial hurdle into the competing scene. And it, like I say, without them people in the background, they feel like they don't do a lot, but they probably do more than what we do by just competing, because they literally bring on the newbies, and it's them that keep the club going and keep the club growing.
It's really funny, because before I started this bearding journey, like, if you handed me a microphone, I would have froze up, started sweating, and probably peed on myself. And I remember my first comp. I was nervous. It was hot, and Scott Segura, he looks at me and he could just tell I was a ball of nerves, and he just bloop, all the way up to my nose. You got your nose. And it was just done at that point. The nerves were gone. Everybody's laughing, and that was the first time I went on stage. And now I don't even think about it anymore. I like looking there and I see all the people and I love standing there and just seeing the crowd and watching how excited they are. And so it's been very good for me as a somewhat of an introvert to push myself out there and be out there, because it's definitely something 3 years ago, especially on web show. Like, I would have never done this ever.
I'm going to admit to this one as well. So OPs to me is a very, very, very big competition. So it started my bearding journey last year. I wasn't Mob. I was literally an ambassador of a brand. I went to OPs. I met the man that sat on the screen next to me. I met the original, basically all the original Mob members. I come away. I joined Mob. Ever since then, I've been pushed and pushed and pushed. My confidence has grown to the pure fact. My last competition last year, I dressed up as Dick Dastardly. A year ago, you would not have seen me dressing up. You would not have seen me styling this tash. I grew my beard to hide myself. I now style the tash, like you say, to walk down the street and make people smile. I love people looking at me and wondering why I've got my tash like I have. But the people that stop and ask, when you turn around to them and say, well, I do it for this reason and I compete and I raise a lot of money for charity, they go, all right, I know, I get why you do it now. And it brings joy to people's faces. And
I've got a question.
Go on.
Question right on that point. I'm really glad you mentioned that. How does it differ between the UK and the US when somebody talks to you and you say, I'm part of a bearding club that raises money for charity? Because from my experience, I've had a lot of people who, it's such a bizarre concept of beards and charities, and do you know what I mean? A lot of people can't draw that connection. Obviously, they see what we do, and do you know what I mean?
The number one answer normally when I tell people, they're like, oh, you're going to a beer competition?
A beer. Every single time. You're going to a beer competition? No, I'm going to and I have to grab this. I have to go, no, a beard. Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
And it's funny now, like my eye doctor and my doctor, like the receptionist, they'll be like, have you done any of that bearding competitions lately, you know? And so they know me and they know me through that. And it's a great conversation opener because other people standing around are like, what are they talking about? And it's kind of fun.
It's just something that crossed my mind because in my experience, nobody knows about it. It's like that guilty little secret that we all have, that we all do this really strange thing with facial hair and we raise money for charity. It's like bikers. We're in that category of people wouldn't look at us naturally and presume that we do the charity. And I just didn't know if it was the same sort of situation over in the US where people look at beards and don't really go, you're raising thousands of dollars for charity.
Yeah, and you start talking about the numbers that we raise at these comps and people take notice because we're not making small dollars. I mean, some of these comps, 35,000, you know, like you imagine.
And I say you boys smash it because obviously your venues are a lot bigger than what ours are over here. I say like we do our numbers and we are up in the thousands, and I take my hat off to every single person that organizes that. The stress and everything, because we all know that's not a 3 or 4 month thing. You want to organize a competition, you've got to think a year, 2 years in advance for that competition, to get the venue, to get your competition in order, to think of maybe a theme that's not happened before. It's everything. And how do you boys come up with them? Because obviously you've done now three bearding competitions. How do you think of like what to come up with next and stuff like that?
Well, yeah, I'll speak for that. Like me and Stash kind of have this thing. If you don't get wet, if you don't jump in. So Miss Meg comes up with an idea. She's the one who thought of the gingerbread houses. Our group competition at Mob Fest, she came up with that concept. Other club members, like the Peru Beard Bash, it was brought to us by one of our members, you know, that says, hey, we could do a small comp here. They're going to buy the trophies. We just got to organize it and show up. So we get ideas from everywhere, and then, you know, we sort through them and we go for it. You know, we got another competition coming up here in August again, and we literally started planning this competition the meeting after our competition last August, because there's just so much that goes into it with sponsorships and raffles and venues and finding food and drink for the venue, and just so many things you wouldn't even think of.
Yeah.
It gets incredible.
So, go on then.
I was going to say, I remember I'll bring it up every time because it's one of the few times I got to do something before Silky marginally. I did a video live with Yukon, Boo, Joker before the last, so not this year, the previous Mobfest. I got to see it all get set up and that. And I did ask Yukon and that, how long does it take to plan for this sort of thing? And they said literally at the end of this weekend, we are planning for the next one. There's no break. Yes, they're not as fully into it because they've got that time scale to get it all planned and sorted out. But he literally said, as soon as people go home, I guarantee you, the last few drinks that I had, we'll be talking about the next one. And what's going to happen, and this, that, and the other, and any ideas and changes that need to be made. And I suppose it's similar over here when he talks about people like Mick Wallage and Jamie Cox, who does the Opies, which is one of our closest charities to heart in Beer Mob England, because it's where a lot of us came from.
Yeah.
I would love to make it to Opie.
It's honestly,
it's something else, because obviously where we all stay is in like a city, and then we have to travel like at least half an hour out, and it goes from a city into the countryside, and there's nothing around this brewery at all. So once you turn up there, you're not leaving until you want to leave, or you can get a taxi out there. And like that's going to be our biggest meet this year. Off of that, what has been both of yours best competition, not that you've held, or any competition you've been to? Like, what is the best one been? And it can be the same one or different ones, because obviously my one close to my heart is going to be OP's, but then also Central Beardsman with the beard on at the end of the year. I absolutely love their competition. It's something else. But yeah, so what are both of yours favorite competition?
I'll go first if you want. So to date, and this past weekend was awesome, phenomenal. I mean, a lot of work, a lot of preparation. So I don't want to discount anything from this past weekend, but I would have to say Mobfest 6. There's so many folks that I hadn't had a chance to meet that at my short time in the community that I've become friends with on Facebook. And hell, I've only been on Facebook for like 9 months. I haven't even been on Facebook for a full year. So wow. Yeah, I had blow that, right? So, but folks that you become, you interact with on the Book of Faces, and but being able to see when we went to UMatter, there was a couple of folks we met first time, but to see them again, and then other new faces. And the venue where it was at this a state park, and so we had like dormitory kind of rooms, and we're all together for a couple days. I mean, there really wasn't. It was 30 minutes to the closest town if you needed to go get snacks or something like that. But there was food and games and just. It
looked awesome, because if I'm right in saying, I've seen photos that Boo put up, and it like had a big lake and everything around it, and it literally, not being funny, it kind of looked like a bit like your reenactment, like you were saying, Ron. It's like a little village that come together, and it was a village of bearding people or facial haired people that come together for, like we all say. And I seen it pop up earlier on, and Silky said it, mobbing for charity, bearding for charity. It's the same thing, and you've all come together under that one little roof for charity.
It felt like a family reunion. It straight up felt like a family reunion. I mean, and all comps had that feel, don't get me wrong, but it literally felt like I'm around brothers and sisters that are like blood, right? So yeah, that's where I'm at.
And the venue was nice too, because the kids could, it was kind of contained, you know what I mean? So the kids could kind of run around, they were fishing and everything, and they were just enjoying the hell out of themselves too. So we're over here having a good time. They're over here having a good time. Everybody left happy. Mobfest 6 was awesome. But as far as my favorite competition, I would have to say, is the Appalachian Beard Fest in Ghent, West Virginia. Beard Mob West Virginia and the Pennsylvania Bearded Centers are together on it, and they do it every year. The venue is on a lake. It's an old ski resort. It's out in the country. There's a huge patio. Everybody can hang out on the patio. It's food on site. It was a good time. I'm looking forward to it again this year. There's going to be a concert this year at the competition as well. So
Gotta love a bit of live music at a competition, because we have some videos floating around of our higher members not skanking out, but should we say bopping out to some absolute bangers at the end of some competitions. If people don't know, just go back through our media and find it, and you will be laughing
me every time, because we left that competition just before they played Enter Sandman. I was absolutely gutted, because I literally got messages the next morning saying, "You missed this." What do you mean I missed it? I was there for the full thing of it. No, they literally played Enter Sandman as you left. I went, no, that's not right. But we have a competition in the north side of things, central England, called Beardon, and that is very much like yourselves, have an area, it's enclosed, and got a right good park for kids, so they can go and do their own thing, be kids, and it's lovely to see when children can just do their own thing, and it's fine, and they can still be watched by the adults and supervised, but we can then do our own thing, and you don't feel guilty because you've got kids bored. They're able to do their own thing, and that just reminded me of that, and I thought it was great.
Yeah, I think the timing
a nice family environment for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I think they got the timing on that song backwards. They should play it at the beginning versus the end. Exactly. If they'd played it at the beginning, then that'd have been all right. But I think it still goes on now. People will just mention that and dig at me that they literally left in the British, one of the biggest competitions I've been to, and I left just before they played Enter Sandman. I literally cried. It was not nice at all.
You played next to man.
Yes, definitely. So in Mob, Ron's been part of Mob longer than Stash, I know that, and I've been part of Mob just a bit longer than Zen, and we've all joined at different times. So,
well, boys, I'm not too sure. Something's literally just come up on my screen, and it said that we're not live.
It's still saying live to me.
Right, no. Can we just get comments saying that if we're still live? Because my
just saying
checking my other device
on my end. Yeah,
I know.
Miss Meg just.
No, that's fine. No, we're all still live. Go on then, Sandman. You can carry on. Yep.
So, we've all joined Mob at different times. We all hold different positions in Mob. So myself, I'm the Sergeant at Arms for the English chapter. Zen, as it says in his little header, is the secretary for our chapter. When you started Mob, because I know you've changed a little bit, I'll focus on All Red, and then I'll pose the same question to Stash. When you started Mob, what position did you hold? All Red.
I came in as Sergeant at Arms. Worked about a year or so, and then became captain. Then after became captain, moved my way up to vice president, and then now president of the region for the East.
Do you think it's like a big step going from running a chapter to then actually having this massive area where you've got chapters underneath yourself, sort of thing, or is it just feel the same?
Well, and here's the thing. I'm talking to all these people anyway on the daily. So I got my people in West Virginia I talk to, my Kentucky captain I'm already talking to. So it wasn't a huge change. It allowed me to do some more things, being able to, fix some things in some states, do some changes. And that's been the biggest thing, is getting back on board. And, I've really preached the thing to all my chapters is let's do something. If you guys go to the park with trash bags and pick up trash for an afternoon, do something. So that's my biggest push in the East right now, is just to do something.
It makes a lot of sense, to be fair.
But SAA has absolutely been my favorite position. I love being Sergeant at Arms.
So do I.
Yeah.
I mean, what I was going to say, before I flip the question over to Stash, just off the back of that question, what would you say is the best thing about being in Mob, from your opinion?
I'd say on all of the roles as well, from the start to where you are now. In
your entire Mob journey, what would you say is the best part?
Since day one for me with Mob, it's been about the brotherhood. It's been about knowing I got somebody with their hand on my shoulder while I'm fighting demons, and knowing I got my hand on somebody's shoulder while they're fighting their demons. And it all comes around like a big conga line, and we have each other, and that's been the biggest thing for me. It is really just finding a group of individuals that are somewhat like-minded. We're not all from the same backgrounds, we're not all from the same upbringing, but when we're together, it's always, I've never had a bad time with these people.
No, I would agree with you on that, because today, for example, I needed the help. It was yesterday, and I didn't even have a chance to speak, and that's how good it was. I didn't even have a chance to speak. I didn't even get a chance to message, and Zen got straight at me. Says, "Don't you worry, mate." Says he was that hand on my shoulder, saying, "Don't worry, I'm here. We'll get through it."
We're sorted.
And then
together.
Yeah.
And we'll sort it
twofold
out.
with that, though, also is the charity and community aspect. Just getting involved in the communities and getting involved in the charities and seeing, for our competition last August for Special Olympics, we raised money for them. They were able to pay for the whole area's bowling program for that whole year. Their bowling program, we paid for everything, jerseys, everything.
And I'll say
they
that
invited us back to their tournament, and we actually volunteered as scorekeepers on all the lanes at the tournament that our competition funded. And just seeing the kids and the adult Special Olympics athletes, it just was amazing to know that something that we had so much fun doing gave these people so much fun. And it's full circle.
And I'd say it's probably a lot different to you running that comp and giving the money and going there to just turning up and paying an entry fee, because you turning up and paying that entry fee, you don't see the end result of where that money went. Like, yes, we all see it posted online. Yes, we do see it, but you yourself, like you said, you were able to give that money to the charity that you're aiming for, and then you all went there and done your other bit on top of it. I bet that is probably the most rewarding thing at the end of the day to go home to. And I can see Stash nodding, and that's like, so obviously we've flipped that across to you. Yes. Then, so what role do you now hold in Mobb, and how did you come into Mobb?
Like a splash, I guess. Splash, but yeah. So first comp in August, went to the first meeting, and obviously, I don't know, a couple of weeks after the competition, I messaged Ron. I'm like, all right, how do I officially join this thing? And he's like, yes, finally, right? So
waiting for that message. I've been waiting.
Right? How long do I gotta coax this guy, right? So went to we had a meeting. I think it was just a couple weeks after that comp was the next meeting we had, and officially signed up to prospect. Our next meeting, we had some leadership changes at the competition. So Ron had moved on to VP, and so Shorty, Chris Jackson, became the captain, and it left an open role. So I think it was our next meeting. I became road captain. So went straight from prospect to member to road captain over the course of almost that whole prospect period. So that's the only role I've held, and it's the one I hold currently. So
nice.
He's good at his job.
He's good at his. Got to be able to go from prospect to member to road captain in under a year. Yeah, you've got to shine, because it sounds a bit like my little whirlwind of coming into Mobb myself. I met, like I say, a few of the boys. I got poached by this man over here. I keep saying this one over here 4 times. He tells people he never poached nobody or tried to pitch. 4 times he done it to me. I was joining no matter what. But yeah, I went from prospect to member within a month, and then I think member to secretary within a couple of months after that. But yeah, it was the British last year that I got my official patch ripped off by captain.
It was the passion.
Yeah.
It really was. You could literally, if you didn't do these shows, it wouldn't change the position you held or hold.
It was member, no matter what. Yeah.
It was the passion you put in that you shone above a few, and that's just the way it was, and we all saw it. And I think that happens with every single person who holds not even a cabinet position. It's the membership position you hold. It's when you show that you put in the passion, and we all have that passion. It doesn't matter if you're Indiana chapter, Louisiana, England, or anything. We all share that same passion, and it's the ethos of Mob. And I've said it a few times in episodes, and I will continue riding that horse until that horse dies, and I hope it never does. But it's the ethos of Mob, the charity, the brotherhood, all the points that you guys have all made is what builds Mob and makes Mob, and you can tell straight away those that have that passion, and they're the ones that drive.
And I'll give it these big two down here. They are probably two of the biggest BMEG supporters for Beard Mob England that we have from across the pond. Yes, we have the top boys in Mob, but then you've got like these two here. I will say every time we post something, these two will like it, comment. And look, Stash is even wearing one of Silky's t-shirts. So this is going to be my question.
That's what it is.
I want to ask you both, i.e., you're wearing a Beard Mob England t-shirt. I know the other man has a Beard Mob England merch. So you've got your Beard Mob Indiana, but I also know you have Beard Mob England merch because I've sent out myself. So what is your favourite bit of merch, whether it be Beard Mob England or something that you've had or designed for Indiana? What would it be? Because my one has to be what Silky put in, and it was the ring. That ring, it has its own stand on my desk. It comes out with me. In a weird way, I put it on and I have a bit of a superpower. I can go to anything. I'd done a business meeting the other day, and off of the back of it, I got a very big contract, and I was wearing it, and it gave me a lot of confidence because I couldn't wear a lot of Mob merch, so that was my Mob merch. But what's your favourite bit of Mob merch? We've all got it, and I'm going to throw this out to Sandman as well. He didn't know I was going to ask this one.
Okay.
I'll let these two down below say first.
Yeah, by all means.
You got it, Tash?
I'll put you both on the spot here.
Go ahead, Red. I got to grab it real quick.
Okay. So I have the ring. I have two rings. I have the Louisiana ring, the Mob 2.0 ring, and now I have the English ring. I love them.
Yeah.
But my hands weigh like 4 pounds. I'm like, they're heavy.
Dragging them on the floor as you're walking.
You get 3 rings on one hand, and they're heavy. And I do. I wear them out all the time. I like wearing my rings. But honestly, and it's going to seem silly, and you guys are going to think I'm probably, brown nosing or whatever, but this patch right here is my favorite Mob swag.
So a lot of people, well, some people might know what this patch is, but this patch will be only for Mob people. We won't say what it's for, but yeah, you are one of the only people outside of Beard Mob England to hold that patch. So yeah.
And I hold it dear to me. It was one of the first things I sewed on after I got my membership patches on my vest. Like the Mob the Duck Up's got to go. So.
Yeah. So I see you're back on the screen now, Stash. So you've obviously got what your favorite bit of merch is. So what is it? Come on.
So it's kind of a toss-up, but
go on. You can have 2 if you need to be.
All right, I need to. I need 2. So I've got my comp shirt, and I usually wear long sleeve shirts. That's just me. I always have a long sleeve button down on. It doesn't matter if it's 0 or 90 degrees. I've always got long. So I wanted to wear and represent Beard Mob England, but so I'm working on my comp shirt. I got patches and all this other stuff. But so 2 things that I haven't had a chance to stick on yet would be this patch and this pin.
Other way. Turn it upside down.
Oh, I'm holding. Thank you.
Do you know what, Stash? That pin. That's touched me a hell of a lot because I had involvement in actually designing that pin as well. So yeah, wow.
Right on.
And I know Ron's looking for that one as well somewhere because we were talking about it off screen. But yeah, to have that and so
yeah,
wow.
It's a toss up. It came from England, which honestly, to have merchandise from Beard Mob England. We've got a lot of clubs here in the U.S., and we travel a lot of distance, but to have something from across the pond, I don't know. It holds a special place in my heart, and I've got a special place for it on my comp shirt. So
the man that also designed the autism patch is actually watching, and I want to give him a big shout out because it was Craig Hoy. So Craig Hoy, very big. Well done. You
Well
actually
done.
done a lot of the designs for Silky setting up Beard Mob England. Without you, we wouldn't have a lot of the designs. So
Well
big
done.
big up to
Well
you,
done.
mate. And yeah, well done,
And
brother.
I've got that sticker. I've got that sticker on my beer fridge. So, but I'll be wearing it as well. So.
Yeah, I got the two big lion, the big crest on the back of my comp shirt. I love that. I love having it all with my name and then the giant crest underneath. I'm gonna have to get a crest for my vest.
So that's become an unofficial official placing for that, the lines you're on about, and everybody. So obviously I run our Beard Mob England prospect chat, and it is actually, so I have a layout of where all the patches go for all the prospects and that when they get their shirts and that. And yeah, we actually have that on there. We go Lions patch, but that's optional. But I love it. Like you say, where it sits, it's just a perfect size patch for that and everything. It is absolutely awesome. Go on, Sam, man. What is your favorite bit of merch? I know you've had it there and it's been brought down to you because I've seen you come up, mate. Have two, because another one is this one, my flag that I got sent from Monty from America. So
I love all my flags. I have so many flags. I love my flags.
Okay.
When we go to hotels and houses, we hang them like on the railings of the porches. Everybody's like,
love that one. I don't think we could do that in Premier Inns over here, Liam. They'd get taken by housekeeping, wouldn't they? We can't hang anything outside in the hallways. They get taken.
We'll get shot. So when I first started in my mob journey, I was given my name and my 5 patches. Yeah. It came in this box, and it's congratulations, Sergeant at Arms Sandman, one mob, one love from Dan Silky Brown. And this has all my mob merch in. So from that first,
I was about to say, I knew this was going to come up.
This has always had all of my mob merch in. It's got Dover's mob merch in. It's got all sorts in, and that box is old, tattered, rips everywhere. And until it dies, it will remain, because that was the biggest part of receiving all them patches. But I have 2 patches. I have my shield.
Yes.
Now, this is actually one that I won. It's yet to go on a shirt. Or I think I might just frame it, because this is actually one of the original Beard Mob England shields. Before it got mass produced, this is one of the prototypes.
That was a prototype, yeah.
So this is one of the originals. Very, very few people have this, and I won this from Sir High.
Go on, Ron.
So this is amazing.
Is the difference in the OG and the mass-produced one the lines? Because I don't remember the lines running vertically.
Yeah, I think it is. I think
I gotta go check mine.
The lines and the occasional.
I'm sure Silky will jump in and tell us what is,
Silky
because
will
the man is
tell you.
watching, and I've seen him go mob the flag up, and we all love a flag, because yet again Ron's got his bearded family network flag behind him, which if anybody doesn't know about, the man posts in our page weekly when these two do it. Go and give them a watch. Their show is unbelievable. It is awesome. Sam, man, watched it. Yeah,
So,
you boys are killing it over there. Like, yeah. I can't. As much as we big up everybody, but yeah, you are killing it. I know this is a new network for you. Like, we've got a new TV channel over here, so we know the effort and everything that gets put into behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, we got offered a spot on the Bearded Family Network, and both of us looked at each other, because we'd been on like 4 web shows that week already, and we're like, why not? Let's do it. And we wanted to do something original. You know, we didn't want to. I mean, nothing wrong with people talking about beard oil companies and the upcoming stuff, because there's definitely a need. That's what bearding web shows are about. We wanted to flip it a little bit, and the guys who are donating stuff to raffles every other week, or people that are making products, tumblers and cups, and you know, these are people in the bearded community making waves, and most of their products end up on raffle tables from coast to coast. So we wanted to spotlight these people that are helping us, because I know at competitions, you know, a lot of money is raised on raffle baskets, and without those items, it would be a lot less money that we raise. So we really wanted to take some time and just give them a special moment to kind of highlight what they do and how their bearding journey began.
Yeah,
throw some business their way. You know, if we can help generate some buzz and some visibility and awareness, that somebody might not have been aware, be like, hey, go check out so and so, hit them up, you know.
It is literally that. I'm not being funny, but Ron knows how I started my company, my business that I do now. It was off of the back of flicking a few designs off. Yes, I had a graphic design background a few years ago, and a few people come to me, and then a few people from up over the pond come to me, and I was like, right, okay, then I think I can do this again. And I was only going to take it slowly, and I wasn't going to go full time until the end of this year. Well, last year I kind of jacked in the job, and this is now full time. So bearded design is like full time, and I know the man doing, that old Red has he's purchased a few of items off me. I know he's got some through Central Beardsman and myself. So
the national business card is our greatest project together.
That is literally, do you know what? I knew that was going to get brought up. I don't know if you can see this, but I'll try and cover it. But yeah, so it's the one. So we've had them now printed over here as well. So
yeah, I've got some.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So
yeah, that's the one.
Just to finish this up, that because every single person who is in my chapter, I know will stand shoulder to shoulder with me, and the Americans as well who share this patch. We will stand shoulder to shoulder and have each other's back 100%. But this next one has a massive special place in a lot of us over in England's heart, because me personally, I've seen this come from a picture to a sticker to everything, and now that it's a patch, is amazing, and I'm sure Silky would agree. But Mickey Mobb is absolutely beautiful. I mean, look at it; it's beautiful.
Am I right? Has some Mickey Mobbs been sent across the pond to you guys?
I'm waiting on my package, baby.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know I seen old Red jump straight on that one, because he was the same as me. When I first seen that, I jumped straight into Silky's DMs and went, how can I get that in a patch? And he went, doesn't exist. He went, it does not exist, and I'm finding it hard to get it. And when,
as soon as I seen it posted, I was like, I need 3.
When I first asked about the Mickey Mobb being a patch, it had only just been made into a magnet. I've got 3 of them or something daft on my fridge. It only just been made into a magnet, and the stickers hadn't been around that long. And when it got made into a patch, it was like Silky almost. It was like his last design that needed to be made into a patch. So Mr. Twiston from Stash Rollers have been made into a patch. He's got his Autobot Transformer Stash Rollers made into a patch. A lot of the Beard Mob England logos made into patches. It was the Mickey Mobb was like the Pierre de Resistance type of thing. It was the last one that needed to be made into that. Just pushed it that little bit further. And when he released it, I'm like, right, I don't care how much it costs. Silky's done his thing. He's waved a little bit of paper around or a piece of fabric, and us everybody have bought it, because that's what we do.
I have like an entire plastic tote of patches. It's like this deep, like full of top.
Crazy.
I got it's separated. I got Miss Meg's patches on one side and my patches on the other side. So, because if I take her patches, she gets mad.
Do you guys feel the same though when you see Silky and he's done a post and you're like feel really excited, but you're like, oh, this is going to cost me a lot of money.
And there we go. I just want to say, Mr. Craig Hoy jumped in there and has said that Mickey Mobb was his number 1. So that was like, it was his favorite. It was his first one that I think he probably done. So yeah, hats off to you, Craig Hoy. Yeah, he's designed a lot of them. A lot of our patches that we've got on our designs are through Craig Hoy. So hats off to you, brother. Without you, even though you're not English and you are Welsh, so you can't be part of our chapter, brother. It's one of them, but hats off to you, my Welsh brother.
Very nice. It's good to have design people, because in the bearding hobby, we're always promoting something or promoting ourselves. You know, I know I work with you. I work with Johnny Rodriguez over here in the States.
He's another amazing bloke, isn't he? Like the artwork that he produces and the patches.
He does really well stuff.
Yeah.
And the amount of it that he pours back into the charity too is just phenomenal.
Yep. So if I know this is, you guys are asking the questions, but Zen, what's your favorite piece of merch?
Oh, what, mod merch or just mod related. It's got to be my shirt. My shirt, literally, as you can see, I'm in my. So I have 2 flats. So I have my flat here that is bearded design hub, and then I've got a flat with my missus as well. But yeah,
Okay.
my comp shirt. It's got me to where I am now. I wouldn't be sat on the screen with you 3. I wouldn't have done any of these streams. I wouldn't have my company better in my life. So yeah, like without Mobb and the family, and yeah, like not being funny, when I first started doing some design work with Ron, I was walking to and from work and doing house removals that I really did not enjoy doing. And yeah, so I'm now doing something that I absolutely love doing. I've got a lot more time for the bearded community, and it started. So yeah, mine is my
tell.
shirt.
You really
Yeah,
can.
mine.
The first few video chats I had with Zen while I'm in hospital, waiting for my first son to be born, and I was
on a decorating site.
You
Jumping
was,
from,
yeah.
I was a painter. I'm a fully qualified painter and decorator. I'm also a graphic designer. So they were my main 2 trades when I walked out of school.
So
But yeah, I was on a decorating site. I hated it.
crazy. With my wife, we're waiting for a cesarean for our 3rd born son, and talking to Zen, and you could just see him. He's working away, but he's enjoying it because he's that type of bloke. Work keeps him going, sort of thing. But it wasn't as passionate. He wasn't the Zen we know. And then when he got bearding design back off the ground again and started running with that, and getting the different people. When it was just Mobb, yeah, the passion was there. But then he got people coming from all over.
Yeah.
And that you really saw a massive change in him. Yes, he's more busy and harder to pin down, but the passion that he has for his designs have really taken off. It's amazing. It really is. He's doing such an amazing job with everything that he's doing at the minute, and massive.
I think like Ron says, it goes back to like Mobb and family. Like I wouldn't have this passion if family didn't push me, and it wasn't like. It's one of them. Like if you don't have that backing, and like you were saying, that person on your shoulder going, "No, you can do this." Like none of us would be where we are. Like Stash, you've only been on social media 9 months. I find that absolutely unbelievable in a world that we live in. Like I remember signing up to Facebook when it probably first come across to England in 2006 or something like that. So for you to only have just come across it now, and yeah,
so
a
little bit of story about that, right? I was married for 17 years. We got divorced, and my ex-wife was always on Facebook, so she would give me updates. And so separated now, and I got my kids. My son is 19. I've got a daughter at 17. But so my son is just came out of a tattoo apprenticeship. So he's finally laying some ink, and it's always trying to see his artwork. What are you doing? What are you posting? Well, he's on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you know what I mean? He's on everything. And he finally is like, Dad, I'm tired of having to post shit and send it to you separate. Just get on Facebook and you can look and see. When I posted, you can see. And so I succumbed, and I'm like, okay, show me how to set up a Facebook account. And that was literally like, I don't know, like 2 weeks before Ron met me, because he's like, go check us out on Facebook. I'm like, I'll see if I can figure that out. I just got Facebook, literally.
So Ron, obviously we've heard about stashing his kids, and we know about yours. So does your daughter have much to do with Mobb and involvement with Mobb and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, she really does, man. The community has kind of took her in. She's Patch. Her nickname's Fern. She's our youngest Mobb member.
How old is she, if you don't mind me asking? She was 6. So...
17. She'll be 18 in July. So, but wow. Yeah, she does art. She does taxidermy art and bug pinning, and she gets asked to vend at competitions all over. Like she's going to vend in West Virginia with us this year when we go. She vended at our comp. She vended at another comp that now I can't think of. And she went to Pomeroy. Yep, she vended in Pomeroy, Ohio. I took her to Bearded Prom. We went to Bearded Prom in Pittsburgh last year. She had an absolute blast. Can't say enough about the Steel City Beard and Mustache Club up there.
Does she compete?
She has not. She's told me, she's like, I'll come play, but I don't want to play. So
Got ya.
We're still working on it. We may get her to compete yet.
We've got a few members like that, haven't we, Liam? Like at the moment,
Yes.
we've got a few whiskerinas that keep wanting to compete, but I think we need to.
My lovely lady will be competing for the first time in.
I think a few mob ladies are. Yeah,
Yes.
we've got a few off of the back of Jiggy's episode. I think a few of them have gone, actually, let's go and do it. And like, I'll openly admit, my first competition last year, and I know you two said it, every competition I go to, I have those nerves. I literally will be shaking, my hands are sweaty, I'm wiping them down my trousers right before I walk on that stage, and I'm probably still sweating until I'm walking off that stage. But the buzz you get off of that, we've got our chant over here that just come out of nowhere, which is mob, 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 and you will hear that in our videos. But yeah, when you hear that come out, it lifts you. It just gives you something that it's like a superpower, isn't it? When you hear it, if you've got the We Are Mob over in America, we've got the mob, mob, mob. It's just something else that feels amazing, and to see your kids probably go up on the stage is another thing as well.
That would be cool.
That's the crazy thing. The kids, man, how they have that built-in guts mode. You know, they have that built-in confidence. It's like for us, we have to try and really force that switch. With the kids, it's a natural flick, and away they go. I'm like, oh yeah, great. Now your dad's got to follow you and hope and pray now you don't like turn into a gibbering wreck while he's halfway up the stage. You know, you see your kids go and you're like, oh yeah, and then you realise, oh damn, I'm going to be on there in like next hour or so. I need to really make sure that the dad doesn't let the kids down. But yeah, the kids make a lot of the competitions because they bring out the best in all of us. So it really does help a lot when your kids get up on the stage, and the amount of pride. Silky, one of our enforcer, his son,
Zeke.
Yeah, at British. It's his birthday on Monday, so happy birthday, Zeke.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. He went on, and Lupin was a bit nervous at that time, and so Silky took him on, and even though it wasn't Silky's own kid, the pride in that man's face was absolutely unreal. And it is, when you see the kids go on there. I've seen 2 out of 3 of my kids go onto a stage, and it's just takes your breath away because you're thinking, that's what we're doing it for, to show that there is a part of the world that isn't nasty and horrible, and it's there for good. It's pure and kind, and that's the sort of world.
The whole community is there for good, and all I found is awesome people, whether you're across the pond where you are and over here or up and down the country. I think everybody, like you say, we go to those comps and we've all got the same heart. Like Liam's from where he is, I'm from where I am. We all go there with that one like
purpose.
Yeah. Which is to raise money for charity and not being funny. I'll say, I think I told you to. I'd done 6 competitions last year, a couple of them online. I only got 2 awards. That doesn't bother me. I went there and I've got family. I've got people I speak to daily. Yeah, my phone is non-stop and my missus might sit there and go, who's that? Or if my phone, I can't have my phone on loud, because if it's on loud, it is constantly pinging left, right and center. So it has to go on silent. But I wouldn't change my world that I'm in right now. Would you two? Like, would you ever look back and think, why the hell did I do this journey? Or are you still on that journey and do you know where you're going or where you can see it going at the moment?
I don't know if I can see where it's going, but there's zero rear view mirror. There's no looking back. This is an organization where if you like to have this involvement with other people of like minds and you like supporting charities, I don't see how there's any looking back. I mean, what a great opportunity to dive in, support, whether it's with a craft that you do or a network that you have or financially or whatever, right? It's doing good stuff. And you know, if you're the type of person that likes to give back and get involved and have a wholesome hobby. You know what I mean? I like to piddle around and do some other stuff, although competitions in the bearding club is taking up a considerable portion of the time outside of work. But I mean, I don't see how that I could ever look backwards and think, man, this was a silly idea. No, I'm looking forward to the future. What it holds, I don't know, but I'm excited for it.
I think you two have got a great future with that the Bearded Family Network as well, because like you say, you've gone on in a bit of a weird way. It's what we've done over here at Beard Mob England TV. Like we're going out of the norm and doing not your normal programs. We've got a program on sewing. Like hell, you go and find another program where you've got two bearded men sewing patches on a shirt. You can't.
Yeah. It's a great show.
You've got four people here from four different backgrounds of life that are talking, but we've all got that one passion and we've all got that one connection, and it's just unreal. But yeah, I just think it's unreal.
Yeah.
It's just...
You've seen the videos where people start running down a hill and their feet get too fast for them and they start rolling. That's my bearding journey. We're just getting started down the hill, man.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I will say that where we all know Beard Mob is a very new club, and yeah, we're all running, and I think it's all going in the right direction. I think Sandman would say that from what bearding probably was. It was probably the same over the pond with you a couple of years ago. It probably wasn't a family orientated thing, but now it's more pushing towards that, and it's becoming a big family, isn't it? Like you see the same faces, you speak to people, it's everything, no matter what.
I mean, there's so many clubs over here too. Like there's 9 clubs just in Indiana alone. So it's been a personal kind of thing for me to bring not only Mob together and make Mob stronger, but to make the family, the community stronger. So bringing in, working with the other clubs, partnering up with the other clubs, just running ideas back and forth with each other, just to push the whole community forward.
It's just, I know I haven't been bearding as long as people like Big Judd and Silky and others, but when I joined just after lockdown. So it was the tail end of the old style of bearding and the start of the new style of bearding, gone from a very male, adult-dominated scene to, like you say, very much family orientated. I can look back, and I've spoken to a lot of people who've been doing it 10 years, 15 years plus, and they would have hoped it got to this point. They would never have thought they'd see it get to the point of where you've got kids just hanging around together, and kids being able to go up to somebody knowing that that's a safe person to go up to and talk to, and creating that family community and family. It's bad because my 4-year-old goes to anybody with a beard. It doesn't matter if it's a beard competition.
My daddy.
Literally, right? I took him to school, and there was a guy, I have never met this man in my life. And Elliot, my middle child, looked at me and went, "Are you part of Beard Mob?" And I'm like,
No, Elliot, no, he's not. No.
Give that kid cards. Give the kid cards.
Oh, you're literally like, "Oh, well, Daddy's got a beard, so you must know him." I'm like, "It's
right. You gotta know each other." How do you not know my dad? Come on.
Yeah, exactly what it was. It was like, "Well, you've got a beard, and he's got a beard, so naturally you know each other." I'm like,
just how it works.
Your lovely Dover's just put in the comments. He's just trying to recruit. He was trying to recruit.
But this is a guy, and he's like 6'4" and built like a beard, and I'm like, oh my god. My little child just...
So he's just like the normal height of men then, and it's just he made you feel small. Yeah, that was all it was.
I'm with Red, man. Give your kids some cards. Have them pass them out at school, right?
Does your dad have a beard? Well, here we go.
Right?
It's so weird. Like, in the forest, you'd have naturally presumed there would be around a lot more beards in a forest environment, yeah? No. Care homes. Beards are in care homes, apparently. Like,
No, we're not recruiting the over 80s at the moment,
No, no,
Liam.
no, no, no.
You
I'm
might
about
work
staff.
in the dementia home, but please don't bring them to the comps. It's bad enough having to control you after a couple of beers.
I've gone
The senior
through
league.
so many cards to keep forgetting that I give them it. I'd have to keep bringing it back all the time. But no, the actual staff. It's the first time I've worked in an environment where my beard hasn't been questioned because of its length, because of its why I've got it, do you know what I mean? Some jobs question your beard or why you have that style. Weirdly enough, in a forest, I was questioned more about my beard than I was in a care home. It's such a bizarre concept to me. But all the engineers have got beards, all the electricians have got beards, and it's just crack on. You come to where the crazies are. You guys are crazy enough to come work here. You just join in with all the nutters. It's fine. But it's just strange how naturally your mindset goes to a forest and thinks that what way of life? No. Apparently dementia care homes is where it's at for bearding.
Well, we know all where to go then. Dementia care homes to rock out the beards and start recruiting more people.
See, you're laughing, but Phantom, one of our members, is a manager.
I will say this one of the same care home provider as what you work for.
Yeah.
You guys are going to have a beard comp at the home.
Yeah, beard mob at home. That's what it is.
Let's have a beard comp at the home.
Beard comp for over 80s, and it can't be anybody that's below the age of 80, and they have to live in a care home. There we go. We've got it cracked for this year over here for the next
7, eat
month.
your heart out.
Actually, honestly, that's a great idea. You know, folks at care homes, they don't have a lot. You know, they may have some people that come and visit here and there, but as an organizer, I remember as a kid, you know, in school and choir, right? We'd go and sing Christmas carols and that kind of stuff. Why not have a beard comp?
Have we accidentally, as a foursome, come across like the holy grail of bearding and its care homes?
Well, this is what people say. You go to the pub to brainstorm. Well, we're sat in the Mobb Inn, we're having a few beers, and look what we've just brainstormed. We're all now going to start going to care homes and start taking the first prizes off of the over 80s.
Exactly.
These are the only way to win.
Conversations on the regular. We're always kicking around. What's next, right? What is the next little piece we can dig into?
So, what is next for you two that you might be able to share with us then?
Yes.
Yeah, come on.
Next for us individually, or next for the club? That's two different questions.
Oh, how about we do individually first, and then we do club afterwards.
So individually for me, it's just getting through the next 2 weekends. We have another beard comp at Hiram's in Plymouth, Indiana next weekend, and Stash is going to be a judge up there, so I got to go heckle him a little bit. His first time judging. And then, like I said, I'm headed to Syracuse. I can't say the guy's name right, but the competition's been running like 70 years. So I'm really excited to meet. I think there might be some of the original members there from the 50s.
70.
So, they started the club in 1952.
Wow.
Which would make them care home age.
You're literally going to a care home.
Right?
What a segue. This is where you got the idea from.
Man. Wait. We're going to expand on this idea. You just give me some time, give Stash some time.
We will be getting in each other's messages, because it's not just going to be American stateside. This is coming over here because Silky's even commented idea of the century. That one is. Not being funny, we all know a lot of older people can be set in care homes on their own. So I think we're a lot of younger people. If we've got a spare hour or so, then it could be a big idea.
Telling you, bearded walker battle, right?
Yes. Like
U.S. versus England. Bring your best olds.
Bring your best old person to the next beard con.
Love it.
Can we get them like a stair lift? So the podium, but it's like a stair lift to first place.
The Zena stair lift.
That's awesome.
Oh dear.
So then, personally, what's for you coming up then? Coming up for you, Stash. Sorry.
Yeah, Hiram's. As Ron mentioned, I got asked to be a judge first time. So this Saturday be back up north. So excited for that. And then honestly, I think from a club perspective, the next big thing really is just continuing to work on our competition coming up in August. Bearded Theater, it's going to be badass. Super excited about the venue. It's going to be Bearded Theater. It's taking place in a late 1800s theater that's been remodeled here where we live, right in town. So it's really close for us, but it's going to be super cool. Really, really, really excited for this one. So obviously we've got other comps coming up between here and there and other stuff, but I'd say those are probably the two biggest things. I'm not going to New York the following week. Gotta have some dad time. But
So that's what's coming up individually. Club wise, what's coming up? Obviously, have we got anything coming up that we might be able to spill or sneak peek to
Bearded
people?
Theater is going to be awesome. There's a lot of great things in the works for Bearded Theater. Our first competition last year, we outgrew our venue day one. It was literally standing room only. We got every chair in the venue in, so we had enough, and we probably would have pissed the fire marshal off. So we had to upgrade to a bigger venue this year for sure, because even more people have committed to coming. And I've been trying to get this theater for 2 years, but it's been under construction and not safe for people to do events. So they just got it cleared. I reached out to them immediately once I knew it was cleared. They're excited. Part of our charity is going to their actual preservation society to keep restoring this, because it was built in 1871. So it's going to be kind of fun. And then breaking news, we normally do a big competition every year and then one smaller like festival competition. Like last year we done the Bearded Olympics, and then we done the Peru Beard Mustache Bash. So there will be another smaller competition this year, possibly at a barbering competition we've been asked to join.
You heard it literally here. Wow.
Zero
Thank
details.
you very much for letting us in on that little one. I did not even know that one. I thought, do you know what? Mob, if you don't ask, you don't get, and we always know this one.
Do you have any upcoming mobbing stuff from president's from a presidential
back in?
Bearded Carams? From a presidential point of view, do you have any upcoming mob news for us? And then on that same note, from your show point of view, do you have any upcoming news about your show? Anything, any little tidbits you could give us?
Well, we just keep trying to find original guests for the show. We keep branching out. I recently reached out to several other clubs, like, hey, who you guys got doing stuff? Let's have them on. I don't want it to be just centered around Mob. I want it to be a bearding community, coast to coast, overseas, down under, wherever we can get people from. So just keep finding new and interesting guests. We got some really good shows coming up. Going to be good. And then we have a cool show coming up too. I will let you in on this because I let it out on a show the other day. We're going to have a show that just kind of, for us to become a non-for-profit, I don't know what you call it in England, but a 501(c)(3) charitable thing. We're going to have some people come on that's been through the process and kind of explain that to our viewers of how that whole works about becoming a 501(c)(3) charity, a non-for-profit organization, and how that can benefit the club and stuff. So trying to do some educational, informational stuff for people as well, because sometimes it's hard. You don't know who to reach out to talk about stuff like that. So
do you know what? That is probably one that, like, a lot of us in the bearded world don't know about. Like, we all go and raise money for charity, but how do those charities come from where they started to becoming? Like, yeah, we like a 501 over in America would just be classed as, I think, would just be a registered charity over here. So like, it's one of them. So yeah, like, I think that would be. And how can people find this? Obviously you do post in Beard Mob England and Beard Mob page, but where else can they find the Bearded Family Network? Literally drop it everywhere, and I will add it in on the comments when I come offline as well.
100%. I'll share it to my story too.
Red does fantastic work, because I'm, again, being a newbie at Facebook, and he is super proficient. Hell, I struggle to find links to stuff. I'm like, man, where is the what, and he'll just send it to me in Messenger. But every week Red does a fantastic job. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Of posting it everywhere, right? So you can find it on Facebook. We post it inside Beard Mob, Indiana, Michigan, England. You know, everybody's club, Bearded Center, the Pack. But you can find us on Bearded Family Network. If you go to Bearded Family Network on Facebook, you can look up Bearded Family Network on YouTube. It's also there. From a comment perspective, if you haven't given StreamYard your permission, you show up as Facebook user. So definitely recommend
we
that.
still have a few of them. Actually, this man sat to the left of, sat to the other screen. He's been on plenty of lives. He sits here and hosts lives. Yet every time he comes onto a live as a commentator, like in the comment section, he's a Facebook user. He's granted StreamYard permission probably 100, 200 times, yet won't let him. Yeah. They don't want him named. He's literally a ghost of Facebook. So
interesting. I did it once. I showed up as the Facebook user a couple times, and I went to I think it's Facebook/StreamYard, and you enter whatever, and it's always worked ever
I've done
since,
that loads. So. My wife's done it, and she's the technical genius in the house. I'm like basically just somebody who turns up and talks. She does all the technical stuff in the house, and still, I am the ghost of Facebook, and I am going to take that and I'm going to get that made into a patch. I am going to get the ghost of Facebook made into a patch and just have it randomly somewhere. It'd be great.
If you go to Bearded Family Network on Facebook, you not only find our shows, but you'll find several other shows from different clubs, all on the same network. So
That's pretty cool.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Sitting on Sundays, you got us with Bearded Business on Mondays. Wednesdays, the Pack is on. Thursdays, we have the ladies at the sideshow. I mean, it's just good programming.
Yep.
Very good programming.
Honestly, people get across there, have a look, go and do it. But yeah, obviously we know where you've come from. Where I know Sandman normally does this one, but I am going to jump in there. Where do you see? Oh, what's just happened there? Did I jump off and jump back on? But where do you see the bearding world going? Like over the next couple of years, do you still see it being family orientated? Because a lot over here is going from, like we say, the old school into the family. Is that you're wanting to see it go over in America and be and grow the chapters and stuff like that for more family orientated and women joining?
You see a lot more family-oriented comps. I think, as each season goes on, you do see more family-oriented comps. But the one thing that I'm really liking in the bearded community right now is the non-comp events. I mentioned the bearded prom. We just get to hang out, dress up, and have fun all evening, raised a ton of money for the charity. And we do a bearded family reunion, is a camp out, or 3-day weekend camp out, where they rent out a whole section of the campground, and we all camp. Not us as in mob, but us as in all our local clubs. I mean, there'll be 4 or 5 clubs there for these gatherings, and and while we're camping, we're raising money. We're doing a cornhole tournament. They're doing disc golf tournaments, chili cook-offs. So there's a lot of ways to raise money that we don't have to do bearding. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my comps. Obviously, I'm always at one. But I really like the non-competition stuff that we're starting to see.
So over in the UK, we have beard markets. So we have a lot of market areas. I don't know if it's like it in the south end, but in the north, we do have market areas that open up and they've got stalls and that. So you'll have different beard companies go into these markets, and they basically sell their stuff, and they make a percent. Obviously, they have to make some money because they're in a market, but a percentage of the profits goes to the charities, and that is a non-competition situation where they are just putting themselves out and putting out situations like that. There's also different bearding groups do different competitions that aren't your judging competitions, like win this, win that, put a pound in or whatever, and that goes to charity or whatever. So yeah, I agree with you. I think a big part of the future of bearding is not taking away from competitions, but adding to it by having things to fill in the gaps, so to speak, to keep the running or operate. Sorry, my English is gone again. 1 minute.
It's like the break between a comp and another comp. It's the Passover. It's the bridge of breaking it up, and maybe if we can't go to a comp, how about we raise money in a different way? And I think that will slowly start coming over here, because we're doing our own little things and we're raising money in our own. And I think that's what, like, you see, like, the beard community is just a little branch off into other different communities, because we raise money for one charity, but then we might think, how about we raise money for it by not doing a bearding role? And it's the same again. And I think and it's amazing to see us all in that way, and we've all got that same outlook. It is an absolute honor, because obviously we're all young and we're all still, it's like we're growing that legacy from the older generation of us, and we're bringing up the newer kind of, like, the social media way of things, and doing these lives and branching out. And you wouldn't have had this maybe 5-10 years ago with 2 different countries coming together. It's kind of, it's a big crossover from many years ago, and it's just going to keep evolving.
Well, COVID probably had an impact on that as well, right? And we think about how COVID shut everything down, and so there are new mediums available that people can communicate with that really existed, but probably not on anywhere near the level they are today, right? Being able to hop on a live stream with you lovely gents on a Sunday afternoon, evening here, evening there. So I think there's going to be more and more of those opportunities where people think, how do we branch out? I love increasing the family aspect of it, and how do we pull more people in? It shouldn't just be a group of gents getting up and how do we get everybody in? The Whiskerenas honestly is one of the elements that pulled me in and thought, holy shit, this isn't just a bunch of beardos and weirdos, man. They're women.
They're women that, they're not being funny. We walk past in the normal day street, and you wouldn't put Jiggy with those beards. If you were to see her walking down the street, you wouldn't put her competing. Like, a lot of people that you see competing, like you say, Whiskerenas, you'd think, well, what would you do as a normal, like Sandman's partner? I know she's struggling with going up to compete, but she's doing it because there's a background behind it, and you've all got that same aspect, and it's just amazing. It's like you say, it's just something else, isn't it?
No, yeah, absolutely.
I'm really glad my bearding ventriloquism act that I've been practicing for so long has taken hold, because Zen has literally said the next 10 things that I wanted to say without me.
I'll shut up and I'll let you speak then.
No, don't worry, mate. In fact, I imagine he can probably carry on while I drink water.
I probably could, but I'm not going to. But you two have been. It's been an absolutely phenomenal show. Getting to know, like, not just Old Red, but then we've brought on Stash as well, and the journeys that you've both gone through, and it's absolutely amazing. Like we say, we're like how many thousands of miles apart, but yet we've all got the same outlook on the life and doing the same thing.
We all got the same goals, man. We are Mob.
We certainly are. We certainly are. Yes. Well, on that note, Liam,
I think so. I think you're right. It has been, like Zen said, an absolutely amazing pleasure to have you join us and give us your, I would say, unique, but because we are all Mob, it's very similar input to bearding, but
just a normal life.
Your own spin on how you take your Mob journeys, how your personal lives have been, and how your bearding journeys have sort of developed over time. And we are very much all still on that hill going down. We don't know when it's going to stop. We don't know what's going to happen. That we are very much still rolling with it, and we don't need to look back, and we don't really need to look at what's ahead, because with the company we have, we know it's just going to be great and awesome and brilliant for charity.
Absolutely.
Good family all round. So from myself, I would like to say thank you for coming to us, and thank you for being on this episode. Massive thank you to Zen for being that shoulder on my back.
Absolutely
being that hand on my shoulder, sorry. and helping me through today, because I would have got it done, but there would have been a hell of a lot more rambling from me than there would have been without him. So
You wouldn't have been able to shut him up, boys. I mean that. Sometimes you just have to delete him and just close him. But no, thank you very much, because obviously, like you two know, you both were at a comp this weekend, and you've only been back at your houses, and you've taken time away from your family. So from Beard Mob England, thank you very much for taking your time out and being great supporters of us. So from one family to another, it is a very much like a big thank you for sharing your insight into your bearding world and your lives and everything.
Honestly, when you guys approached me to be on the show, I was kind of starstruck and blown away. I was like, no way. And I do thank you guys, and I've been honored so much to be on this show. You know, I've watched everyone so far, and to be on it means a lot to me. And you know, we love you all, you brothers. And so anytime you guys need support, you know we're here. Anytime. You know,
exactly the same with you guys. You know, you've got our back and we've got yours. So, but yeah, I'm gonna let Liam wrap it up, so then we can end it, and then we can all say night, and we can get back to our lovely partners and bed and off to work for tomorrow on that lovely Monday morning.
Yeah.
And I would just echo real quick. Thank you for having us on. Ron mentioned he was going on. I'm like, hell yeah, that's awesome. And then he's like, "Hey, you want to pop on?" I'm like, "Well, hell yeah, that's awesome too." So,
well, like there's a duo act over here, Ant and Deck. You couldn't have Ant on without Deck, so it was like you couldn't have Old Red on without Stash. So it was one of them. It was one of them. But yeah, go on then, Sandman.
Well, this has been the Mobb Inn. I have been the Sandman. This has been Zen. Our guests, Old Red and Stash, have graced us with their presence, and we are forever honoured to have them with us. Throw up your salutes, gentlemen. We are Mob. This has been the Mobb Inn. Love you all. Bye for now.
Love you all.
Take care. Thank you.
Take care.